Hello SQL Server fans, it's your old buddy Mark Dunn back with my last session, session 19 on SQL Server and blobs in my series on SQL Server 2012 for developers. It's certainly been a long road and we've covered a lot of material, but I think you're really going to be excited about what I cover in this particular session. We're going to get to write some .NET code in addition to delving deeply into the way SQL Server deals with binary objects. So let's go ahead and get started. First off, a little bit about myself. My name is Mark Dunn. I'm a Microsoft Regional Director covering the Southeast USA, as well as being a Microsoft Most Valuable Professional in the area of Visual Basic.NET. I'm also the founder and president of a training company based in Atlanta called Dunn Training Incorporated. I'm also a Microsoft Certified Database Administrator, Solution Developer, and Certified. Just before we jump into the demo, I just want to address the database setup for each technique. Of course, the path technique doesn't require really any database setup other than storing the path and file name. We've talked about that already. It's trivial, and I'm not going to take up time with the demo for that. The table technique, we're just going to have to create a table using the varbinary max column to store our blob. And we're going to wind up storing some album covers since we're dealing with a music database. I wound up securing permission from my friend Carl Franklin to use a couple of his album covers. So we'll talk a little bit about Carl once we get to that point. The file stream technique is a little bit more involved. We're going to need to enable file stream storage with the server configuration manager. And depending on the host that you're on, once you make changes to file stream storage to enable it, you're probably going to have to reboot your host machine. Almost always I have to do that. Next, we're going to take a look at the file stream technique. To begin with the file stream, we've got to use the SQL Configuration Manager to set everything up. By default, when you install SQL Server, file stream is not configured. Go to your Start menu and pick the entry for SQL Server 2012. From there, you'll find a folder for configuration tools, and SQL Configuration Manager is right in there. Now, what you have to do is when you open up SQL Configuration Manager, look at your SQL services. You set up file stream on a per instance basis for SQL Server. Make sure you have the right instance selected. Right-click on that, go into Properties. When the Properties window comes up, you'll see a File Stream tab. Simply go to that tab, and then you have to check off Enabling File Stream. Notice the Windows share name right there. I've set it to SQL 20.